Alrighty, I'm a little braver at the moment by standing closer to the edge of my deck and in a different spot so that it looks slightly different. Oops, that lighting's not good. Okay, so I wanted to follow up on that last one because it was not thorough, and that's okay because we're doing things little by little here. Okay, part of praying about everything. I'm not saying you have to pray out loud all the time. But one of the hard things about living a Christian life is that you have to be willing to be the weird one in the room. This is where we get into some of the being in the world and not of the world. I mean, being in and not of the world doesn't always necessarily refer to weirdness, but often it does. Often, by being the weird one, it means that you're bothering to pray before a meal, or you're bothering to, in a conversation where things are going in a really inappropriate direction, being the one to say, all right, let's move on from this. This is not going anywhere good, or something like that. You're standing up for goodness, graciousness, kindness, joy, peace, patience, faithfulness, self-control, all those things that have to do with the fruit of the Spirit. That's what you're standing up for. And a lot of times that'll make you look like the weird one. So at some point you have to become okay with that. I mean, we all want to fit in and we all want to be accepted by people. But in this culture right now that is pulling itself away from us, we just have to become more and more practiced at being in, not of the world. So I say that in reference to prayer because there's a lot of situations regarding prayer where you're going to find yourself in maybe a somewhat awkward situation where you really feel led to pray for someone in a situation that you wouldn't normally have thought to pray for someone, and maybe pulling them aside and saying, can I pray for you? Or some situation where you might have prayed for someone normally, but you wouldn't normally offer it right then and there. You might have otherwise said, I'll pray for you, and then think I'll pray for you, sometime later on, but you decide I'm going to do that right now. So those things are uncomfortable, they're awkward, and they make you feel a little strange in the situation, but that's all part of being in, not of the world. So going back to thanking and praising God for everything, some people would say, but this is like the God of the universe. Why am I praying to him about, finding a parking spot? Why am I praying to him about that? That's like nothing that he needs to be concerned about. But here's the thing. God, when we are saved, he deposits into us the Holy Spirit. And I like to refer to the Holy Spirit as the super secret decoder ring. Because it's sort of like the Holy Spirit, is somehow he makes us see things differently. When we receive the Holy Spirit, the world looks different from our vantage point. It might look different all of a sudden. It might look different gradually. But because of having the Holy Spirit within us, the world looks different. And we behave in the world differently. We treat the world differently. We have a different viewpoint. That's one of the things that a lot of non-believers don't get. And that we struggle because we want them to see things our way. But part of the problem is that they don't see it our way because they don't have the Holy Spirit yet. So that's what the leap of faith into believing is believing first, and then you get that confirmation within your feelings. So the Holy Spirit's really important in all of this, our behavior. Another thing that I like to think, I don't know that I say it very often, but I think is faith is in the follow-up. When you offer to pray for somebody, when you say something out loud, like, I'm going to pray right now about that, or you're saying out loud, for example, to your kids, this is what happens to me often is, oh my goodness, Lord, I cannot handle the situation. I do not know what to do in this situation. Can you please help me? I am completely lost, or I am completely out of control. I don't know how to fix the situation, whatever the situation is. Saying that out loud with people listening certainly put your feet to the fire and letting everybody know how that went for you. And often for me, it's like the kids saying, Mommy, calm down. Mommy, settle down. Later on, they'll say, God really answered that prayer because you did settle down. So following up with yourself, with other people. If you've prayed for somebody, and a couple days later you say, how's that going? Sometimes it reminds them, oh yeah, that's right, we prayed about that. And to them, it makes them suddenly realize that God did answer their prayer. And to you, it helps you realize that. I don't always pray out loud. I'm not saying you always have to pray out loud, but I'm saying sometimes it helps in the whole accountability process. And sometimes it helps you and your own faith and growing and seeing more and more answers, and the other people around you seeing more and more answers, when we're just a little bit more bold and a little bit more willing to put ourselves on the line and maybe look a little strange in the process. So often we are blessed in the outcome. So there you go. Faith is in the follow-up. Holy Spirit, super secret decoder ring. Seeing answers everywhere. Train yourself. Being in that other world. Lots of things. And once again, nothing came down on my head. This is what I'm looking at up here. Yay! Happy Sunday.